recording. Robert, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, how's it going there, Jay? Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, man. It's so we try to do it. So for those of you who are listening or watching, no way you're going to know this, but Robert and I tried to record this a couple weeks ago. We ran into some technical issues. What really was our internet? I don't know whose side it was on. Probably both. But we had some issues, and then we just spent a good 5 minutes troubleshooting some audio issues. But we're here now. I can see and hear you, Robert. I know you can see and hear me. So let's dive into this, man. I'm excited to get to dive into your story a little bit more. There's so many things that we can go after right here today. But one of the things I want to start here, because I think it goes after, we're still in the middle of hurricane season while we're recording this. There's one, Ada is still bouncing around out there, and you are a certified FEMA inspector, which I don't know that I've ever had the pleasure of talking to one before. So it's interesting that's about your bio, but you're also in real estate. So it seems like you know a lot about, let me back up. What does that mean to be a FEMA inspector, and what do you typically do with that?
Yeah, so years ago, I haven't had an opportunity to sign up for this, and basically what it is, we're a contractor of FEMA. So if there's a disaster, we can activate ourselves, which is great. So you can be active, you can be inactive, but you're an inspector. So if something's going on, you don't have to activate yourself. But if so every month you get that where you can put if you can travel or whatever. But anyway, if there's a natural disaster, we are called in by FEMA to go to houses, businesses, mostly residential, and assess the damage to their property after they file a claim. And that's what we do. We go there, we go through, there's a program that we're, continuing education every year with their program. And that's what we do. We assess their property for what damage it is. If it's total loss, flooded, hurricane, tornado, all that's involved. And that pretty much the ball of wax without really getting too detailed.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the insurance adjuster.
Okay.
But with FEMA, because the national is federal funded, they're gonna take that information also. So if you have insurance, if you don't, what covers, what doesn't. So it's pretty neat to see that side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's all about.
That's cool. That's cool that I imagine it's not a very high paying gig to be part of. It may even be like a community service thing. I don't know, but it's one of those things where, we just had Hurricane Sally come through. There is still a FEMA RV sitting at the rec center by the local football field for people to come up and sign up or do whatever. So I have no idea. And we were not heavily hit. So it was just interesting when I saw that part of your bio. I was like, I need to understand what this means. So very cool. But look, man, I know you've been investing for a while. You've been a property manager for a long time. You're also a husband, a father, and even a grandfather. Did I get that right?
That's right.
And I want to make sure I say this right. Is it Pawpaw?
Papa, that's right.
Pawpaw. So I know you're from the South. I know you're from New Orleans, but if I didn't know that about you, I would know instantly if I heard them call you Pawpaw that you were from the Southeast, because that's what I called my granddad or one of my granddads. And then that's what my kids call their grandparents now. So it's Pawpaw. So you've got a wide range of children that I know we're connected on Facebook. And one of the things that you impressed me about, or it could have been your wife too, who tagged your daughters and your kids and says, hey, here's some books I want to challenge you to read. It's about building wealth and financial stability. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about, give us the age range of your kids, and then let's give how you can impress upon them if they're they're married, they're out of college, they have kids of their own, right? How do you continue to press upon them about building wealth and continuing this education of real estate investing?
That's a great question. So, first of all, I've been married for a long time now.
Now look, don't paint yourself in the doghouse, right? Don't put yourself in there right now. I'm not going to ask you the date or anything like that. So let's not even go there. But for a while, to a very lovely lady, right?
Yeah, very lovely lady. I inherited and love, adore three stepdaughters, one of my own. So I have four daughters. And that's simple as that. Four daughters.
Wow.
Um, they live in four different states. So I have one in Portland, Oregon. I have one in El Paso, Texas. I have one in Poplarville, Mississippi, and one in Slidell, Louisiana.
Okay.
I have five grandchildren and another one on the way,
Wow.
which will be in El Paso next month.
Wow.
So uh, yeah, it's been awesome. So
Christmas
the
baby?
post,
Is it gonna be a Christmas baby? Is it gonna be close enough to maybe?
it's gonna be the beginning of December.
Okay.
So
Okay. So unless something just horribly goes wrong, it'll be way before Christmas. That'd be cool though.
yeah, yeah. And my birthday is 3 days after Christmas. So I don't want it to be too deprived, but you know, I don't get the Christmas presents or birthday presents all together. Well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Right, right. So, yeah, the post that you talking is pretty neat. I happen to see it. I shared it to my daughters, which is pretty awesome. I've always preached about real estate. Having assets, and I wish somebody would have told me that at their age. Now they're upper 20s, pretty much all of them. Well, now they're getting in the early 30s, a couple of them. So, not to really get into detail with that, but I'm really proud of them. The one in Portland has their own house. She moved from Virginia. When they moved there, they wound up buying a house with someone else. So partner ship on that ownership. The one in El Paso is the middle. They just bought their first house. She is married to someone in the military, so
Hmm.
they just moved down from Alaska to El Paso, which is totally night and day. But they
Yeah.
bought their first house. Yeah, they bought their first house, so their ownership. The one in Poplarville, Mississippi, um, they just bought their new house about a year ago, and they're looking to flip that. They've lived in it, and now they're looking at buying another house as an investment. And then my daughter, which is the youngest, her first property was a duplex, so
Oh
she had
wow,
the
cool.
house act. Yeah, so yeah, it's been pretty awesome to see that. But the post was more what you're talking about again is reading books. I'll pick out the book, they read it, they give me a report, and
That's what you do now? You have a book report for your kids to give you?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With the Facebook post that I
Yeah,
posted, tagged them in.
I
That's
love
what
that.
that post is about. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and so I don't have to read them all. So now I have.
That's good stuff. That's
Yeah,
good stuff. All
yeah.
right,
So the
Robert,
book.
I'm going to catch you off guard here real quick. Which one's your favorite daughter?
Oh no, don't say that. All of them. All of them.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny.
You know, every one of them's unique. Every one of them has a great personality. Every one of them is taking a little bit different direction, but they're all doing great, and
Love
that's
it.
what I could be blessed with. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. Um, how old are your grandkids? Do you encourage your grandkids through the proper channels to read and invest and get involved with investing,
Yeah.
or are they old enough to even know? I mean, obviously the one coming in December is not going to know anything yet, right? But
Right. Well, I am definitely working on my oldest grandson, which is 7. The other ones are like 2, 3,
okay,
um, 2, so they're pretty small.
yeah,
They're young. The 7-year-old is a great. I'm glad you brought that up. Me and my wife just bought the 7-year-old um, Cash Flow Junior. We
okay,
haven't started that. We just got it in. We're actually going to give that to him for Christmas, if not
okay.
sooner. I'm ready to get that
You
one
ready
going.
to play?
Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
And then we also have
I
what's
didn't know that there was a Cash Flow Junior out there. We don't have the original, the adult version of Cash Flow, but I mean that's the Kiyosaki board game, right? You're talking about?
yes, yes.
Okay,
It's a Cash Flow Junior. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, Monopoly Junior.
Monopoly Junior. Got it. Got it.
I
Okay.
apologize. Yes, yes.
You know what's funny about that I learned about Monopoly is it was actually created to teach how bad capitalism is, which I don't think it is, but the actual game, and I forget where I read this. I'm not making this up. It's a very credible source now, which I mean I could probably Google it right quick to figure that out. But Monopoly was created to teach how bad capitalism is supposed to be, right? Not how bad it is. I misspoke earlier, but um, I don't think it's bad. But anyway, I love the game. I think it teaches a lot of different things. I didn't know they had a junior version, and so I'm gonna add that to my kids' Christmas because I have a 6-year-old, and he he's learning about money. Like he sees I do stuff, and he sees my wife has her side, her business as well, and he's always thinking like, all right, how I want to get my own podcast. I want to get my own YouTube channel. You know, I want to get some views so I can earn some money. Well, we're in the middle of soccer season. And so earlier today, we were doing some footwork drills and some speed drills out in the backyard. And I said, all right, here's the thing, or this was yesterday. I said, here's the thing. I'm going to time you. This is going to be your baseline. And for every time you beat your personal best, I'm going to give you $1. Right. So here we are the next day afterwards. So we've done this for 2 days. I'm out $7 so far. So I don't know if he was sandbagging or what, but the point being is he and I were talking, and he was like, "So is this fake money or real money that you're giving me?" I said, "Well, it's real." And I said, "But more importantly, I'm not giving it to you. You earned this, right? We came to an agreement. If you can get faster, and if you can do these drills to get faster, then that is you earning it, right?" And he
right.
was, "Oh, okay. So you're not giving it to me." I was like, "No, you're earning it." So he's already starting to click. So Monopoly Junior is if you don't mind, I'm going to write that down, and then I'm going to shut up so you can talk some more.
Yeah, yeah. No, no worries. I mean, those little things. Yeah, obviously is gonna, it's just a stepping stone. And what you was just talking about with the money, you know, um, I have a house that I'm just finishing up that I'm flipping again, and I brought my grandson with me. And I said, "Hey,
Hmm.
look, we need to put out some trash and do this and do," and he was all about it. He didn't know how much money he was going to make, and I gave him a 20 afterwards, and I said, "Look," I said, "this is $20," and to a 7-year-old, this is a lot,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And I said, but the thing is, what you need to do is that you need to first of all at least save half of it, because I want to teach them, in the long run, what you can do with that other half to make more
yeah,
money. And then the other half, I said, look, just go buy something that you really want. And it's just kind of a stepping stone. And I have some other things that I want to teach them. How to possibly make a lemonade stand, and just see how something where you can buy something and make money. And it's
yeah,
just little stuff that you see through Rich Dad Poor Dad. kind of one of the little stories. But um, those little things just kind of go a long way. He's not too interested in it now, but it's just gradually putting those little things in his mind.
Planting
To
those seeds, man. That's all. That's good. That's good. Do you
right.
think did all of your kids go to college?
Yes, every one of them.
So I my wife and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum here. I went to college, I had an MBA. It served me well when I had a W-2 career. Also, I didn't know now. What's the famous saying? If I know now what I should have known then, how things would be a little different. I wouldn't have taken on all that debt to get an MBA and all this other stuff. And I'm of the idea that our kids are not going to go to college. I think it's overpriced. I don't think the value's there. If they go, they're going to go to have a good time. They're going to go there to learn about life, so to speak, not so much forced on graduating and getting the education or whatnot. Also, not set them up to be spoiled brats either, right? But I'm
Right.
curious with you, and with your grandkids, do you their parents will obviously have primary say so whether if they go to college or whatnot, right? But as you as a grandparent, would you want to see them go to college and get that formalized education? Or and again, we're talking about the oldest 7, right? So 11 years down the road, 11 to 20 years down the road. I mean,
Right.
college is going to look a lot different, right? So it's going to be
Well,
a hell of a lot more expensive.
well, this is something I really don't talk about a lot. My 4 girls have gone to college. 2 of them are teachers. One of them stay home. She's got a married to military, does really
Yeah.
well. But she graduated from Auburn, did really well.
Go Tigers.
Oregon went to school. Yeah, you're a Auburn fan, yeah.
I am, yeah.
That's
Well,
great because
I have to be careful with that. So I grew up in Alabama. In Alabama, you're born in one way or the other, right? So I was blessed. I was born an Auburn fan, and then I married a Clemson girl who grew up near Clemson, and their parents still live there. My in-law still live there. So to stay off the couch and to stay in the wheel, I just say go Tigers, and
there
I
you
wear
go.
orange.
Hey, same thing with me. I'm an LSU fan, so I just say go
There you
Tigers.
go. We spell the go a little different though.
Right, right. Oh yeah, definitely,
But
definitely.
you were saying though you were you don't talk about
So
this much. You've got you kind of running through your kids.
yeah, so um, and then my oldest in Oregon also went to school, but I don't talk about it a lot. I've never been to college.
No,
Now you see my resume. My
yeah,
wife is the same way. She never graduated. She had a pregnancy young, and we're both climbed the ladder, corporate, high up. You know,
yeah,
um, not saying that um, I'm where I want to be, but I've definitely done it with a lot of hard work. I'm still in a W-2. I really, I've been thankful that I've had a good W-2, and I've
yeah,
done and learned a lot from, I've been corporate. I've worked up the corporate ladder without a college degree. And I've had some people that I've learned from and just kind of jumped in real estate by myself in
yeah,
some points. It's just, it comes down to basically you could do whatever you want. You don't need a college degree, what I'm trying to get at.
yeah.
Um,
I will
and
say this: I envy your position because I see how much money I paid for mine, and I don't see the ROI. And this is me graduating undergrad 20 something years ago and MBA 15 years ago, and I don't see the ROI. I don't see it. And my dad gave me the best advice I never took in my life. When you're a teenager, you know everything, right? And when I was a teenager, going into high school, he's like, all right, you got 3 years, or going into my sophomore year. He said, you got 3 years of high school left. Here's what you need to do. Summer job, 1 year you need to work for a plumber. 1 year you need to work for a general contractor. 1 year you need to work for an electrician. You'll learn everything you need to know about just the business, right? Any industry, any trade that's going to be in high demand, you're going to basically punch your own ticket, was what he's trying to say, or what I'm trying to say. And I was like, nah, Dad, I'm not diving in other people's crap. I don't want to mess with electricity, because I was a teenager and thought I knew it all. And to this day, every time I have to call a contractor or we're redoing the lighting in our kitchen and it's a little bit above my pay grade, I tried to fix it the other day. All the breakers are off, but I'm in the attic, I'm messing with it, and I yell because it lit me up because I grabbed some wires. It just, and of course that's just common sense. I didn't test it. I just assumed, hey, that's off, right? But if looking back on it, if I could change anything, that's one of the things that would be up the list of because you just learn so much about the business. And I had no idea I was going to get into real estate investing. But I think that would have taught me a lot about business and having your own business and running your own business. That's a struggle. So, as a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I had Erica Kohlberg on the podcast here, and she, she was $225,000 in school loans when she graduated. Now she graduated with a legal degree, but where's the ROI on that? I just can't. So, appreciate you sharing that with us, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can really do whatever you want, but knowing how to make money or how to work hard for money, you really don't have to do college.
I don't think you do. I don't think, and it just amazes me how much a bank or the government will loan you money to go into college. It does amaze me. I know why they're doing it, right? Because then you become slave to the system.
Right.
Then you become, well, now I got to go get a job. I got all this student loan debt. I got to go get a job. It's bad debt. It's bad debt. Anyway, so one of the things that I had in my notes here, because I know you're a big proponent of this, and I think it says a lot about where you're at, is having a positive mindset. So I don't know about you, but I will, even to this day, I'll have days where I wake up and I'm like, man, I just don't want to do it today, and then I get kind of down in the dumps about opportunities that aren't coming my way, or people aren't signing up to the mastermind or doing whatever. And I'm like, get that shit out of here. That is not, get that. I don't know. It just, sometimes it affects me. I was like, what? Anyway, what I want to ask you is, when that happens to you, because it happens to everybody. I'm assuming it happens to you. If it doesn't, you're an anomaly, you're a unicorn. We'll skip over the next question. But when that happens to you, how do you get your mind to come back around and do a reset?
I don't know. That's a good question. When that happens, I guess I think about what I could be doing even better. In other words, when I have a W-2 still, I have a salary job. I work, oversee a management company. The investor that I work for is still buying more property, but I'm literally making him more and more money to be able to do that. And when I see that, or when I think about it, I'm like, well, damn, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to build my portfolio myself. I want to be more independent. And I guess some of those, not to think negatively, but I guess it counteracts to make me even work harder.
Yeah.
And I get up and I'm dragging. I'm like, well, it's a Monday or a Tuesday. I have to go to the office. Well, I just say to myself, I want to go to my office,
Mm.
my business. And if I don't want to go today, I don't have to. But I mean, I guess I just think of where I want to be when I'm starting to drag like that. And,
Yeah.
today is just another day to get me another step closer to my goal. And
Yeah.
my goal and my why is obviously my grandkids and my kids to
That
be able
legacy.
to spend more time with them.
Yeah. Uh, Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you would be more successful in investing if you didn't have the comfort of a W 2?
Um, Not really, not at my point of where I am now. Um, One thing I learned, and I try to put myself in the position is, somebody told me a long time ago, is to always have a plan A, plan B,
Mm.
C. Now I tell my wife we got D and E. You know,
Yeah.
and why I say that is that, if something happened, and something did happen with my wife. My wife worked for a company for 17 years. The owner all of a sudden died in a hunting trip.
Mm.
He was a developer, and everything just went down a tube. And I told her, I said, look, we have been investing in single family homes, and we have homes here and there. And guess what? Every home is it is another plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I kind of put it together is, if we lost a job and we had to sell a home, guess what? We have a home that we, not saying I want to get rid of a rental, but we
Right.
have a house. We have somewhere to go to. That's a plan B. If we want to scale, which I'm looking to do, is we're going to sell a house and take that money and let's scale. If something happens where tomorrow I lose my job or something happens, we'll sell a house or, always have a plan A, plan B. Um, it's just something that it's just you're not depending on a W two is what I'm saying. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's not a W two, you're not depending on a certain person.
Yeah.
You always want to have options, and you always want to know what those options are in case something happens.
Yeah.
The way I've been doing it, and that's the mindset I've been kind of putting it into place with my wife, and I tell my kids the same thing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Always have an option.
Yeah. So you unpacked a lot there. I'm going to see if we can go back through some of it because I think there's some really good stuff in there. Um, I agree. I think with the W-2, some people need those. And I've been out of mine, for 6 months now. I think I'm still probably in the honeymoon phase a little bit,
Right.
uh, because I was in the W-2 world for 20 years, right? And you're probably, look, dude, I got kids older than you. So,
Right.
but one of the things that I've realized about myself here in the last 6 months is even though my message was, hey, let's go go buy rental properties, go do this, go invest in real estate. I am more hungry now to make it happen than when I had the W-2 because I mean, I was making, six figures. I mean, it was no, it was low six figures, but it was six figures. It was good. It was a good income for us to do. And quite frankly, we got a little lax on the budget and how we were doing things because our rental portfolio was going well. The W-2 capitalist was going really well and the job was going really well. And I got really laxed. And I don't know if you follow Elon Musk at all, but one of his sayings or things about him is when he sold PayPal, he went out and bought, started investing his money, the SpaceX program and a couple other things. Tesla, I think was the other thing. And so he sold PayPal for ever how many hundreds of millions that he sold it for. and then he had to borrow money to pay rent because he had taken that money and went and reinvested it. He did not have money to pay rent, and it's just one of those mind shift that happens, I think, when you get put in that position. And you'll understand, I think you'll get it when you if you go through that, right? When you go through it, because I didn't understand it. I'd hear all this stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm focused, I'm doing this, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. I'm getting my stuff done. We're chugging right along. But now I'm like, dude, we were barely even scratching the surface, right? Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent there. I am curious though, and what was the other thing you said that I'll have to come back to it. I'll have to remember. Let's lighten it up a little bit. I saw a picture of you where you had a mullet haircut. I want to know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was yeah, that was a switch. Um,
Yeah.
it's all good. Yeah, that was 20, 29 years ago.
I got to tell you, you rocked it. You made it look really, really good. I was kind of, I'm wondering what you would look like now if you had that. I mean, is there any chance we can bring that back?
I don't know. A lot of people are asking for that, but
uh,
I don't know if
who,
that's gonna happen. But
who's the
yeah,
coach for the Oklahoma State football team? Doesn't he have a mullet? I don't know his name, but I think he just has a mullet. That's like one thing he's known for.
oh yeah. I'm not
Maybe
sure who
not.
it is. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna grab that. Let's see if we can post it up in the Facebook group.
But
Um,
yeah, I tell you, W-2. Yeah, it's definitely a mindset, and I've always said, I'm getting promoted. It's tough to leave a W-2. I still have it, but
I would still be in mine, and I would still be thinking that I was doing everything right and still chugging right along. But I got the boot. I was COVID-19 layoff. Me and half my team that I was managing, we got let go, and I sulked
how
around
you
the house for a couple of days. What's that?
how you doing now, though?
Oh, amazing. I mean, for a couple of days, I was like, why does some other a-hole get to keep his job and I don't?
Right.
And and then a couple of days went by. I was like, all right, this is opportunity I've been wanting, to do. There's a guy in the mastermind, his name Darren Hay, and he's been encouraging me to leave. He doesn't, his saying was, look, you're running, not running, you're riding a bike right now with this whole W2 capitalist and the investing you're doing. He said, you're riding a bike, but that bike has training wheels on it. And guess what? You can only go certain places and you only go so fast with training wheels.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow. He goes, dude, whether you realize it or not, your training wheels just got ripped off and you're about to soar.
Yeah.
Now, Darren is one of those guys who I just love him because of the way he delivers things. And he now leads one of the calls for the mastermind. But here's something else. So a couple of weeks goes by after we have this conversation and I get a box in the mail from him. Now he has triplet boys. I think it's triplet boys. He's got a few kids. He's got almost a basketball team, I think. And one of them is to the age where he's riding a bike and now his training wheels have been taken off. So guess what was in the box?
Mm.
Training wheels. He shipped me a pair of training wheels to make his point go home. And I was like, damn, it's time to run. It's time to see how we can take off. So I think the W2 for a lot of folks is, they think they're doing right, but it is the training wheels. And once you get them kicked off, and now I can speak to that experience, is you don't know how fast you're going to go. You don't know how fast you can go because of what's holding you back. And for a lot of people, that's comfort, right? And we just don't know it or don't want to
Well,
admit it.
yeah, I was in the corporate world, and I saw restructuring, um, and I saw divisions and regions get restructured and literally eliminate them. I mean, I
Mm.
had store managers take a regional position, move from Louisiana to Houston, Texas, and 2 months later they eliminate his region. So
Mm.
he took his whole family.
Wow.
He was with the company for 15 years as a store manager. You know, content, had their home. They moved to Houston, and 2 months later said, "Your division's gone. You're out of a job." And I saw that, and I was like, "Holy smokes!" You know,
There is
you
no
just
loyalty, no
yeah,
loyalty in corporate America.
no.
It's just not. They want you to think that way. They want you to act like that, but there's not. It's not. Um. All right. So I stalked you on Facebook a little bit before we had this call.
All
Got the
right.
picture of the mullet hairdo. I understand you're into classic cars. Is that right?
I like classic cars. Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have any? Do you own any?
No, I would love to have a. I used to have a '72 Duster that we
Okay.
renovated. Me and my dad. I was close to having a 1965 Mustang. But yeah, I love them. I've never had one, but
Why
that
not? What's
I would
keeping you?
love I guess, restoring it takes time, and I just have other goals right now. But eventually, I'm hoping to have one. Yes.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. One of the things I saw you post, and I love this saying or this quote from you is, "I'm not the best, but I want to be the best in the real estate world." What do you mean by that? What does that? What does that actually mean to you?
Um, always learn. You're not gonna know everything. Your network. I was just talking to somebody today. Um, surrounding yourself with people that have done it or doing big things, and continuously growing, and just surround yourself with them. I mean, you know, I, it doesn't matter how much you think you know. You're never gonna know everything, and just really strive to be the best that you can. I'm not saying I'm the best in anything, but you know, I've know a little bit of everything is kind of what I say all the time. I know a little bit about everything, and always willing to learn more,
Yeah.
um, and just always.
Who are some of the guys you learn from when it comes to real estate? And it doesn't have to be some, influencer who's got a podcast or anything like that, but who's in your circle of folks that you lean on to bounce ideas off of and just explore new opportunities with.
Far as names, um,
You can stick with first names. You don't
yeah,
have
there's so many of them. Ben Ferris, Garrison, Powell. I mean, one thing I'll mention this real quick is, having the mindset and knowing that you want to do more and you want to learn more, you want to put yourself around other people. Um, the multifamily space, real estate space, I've only been in honestly about a year and a half. And the story behind this was I told my wife, I said, well, I feel stagnant. I
Mm.
feel where I'm in a single family, I'm W-2. It's not where I really want to be. I want to grow even more. Um, so in May, Radcliffe, obviously everybody knows Radcliffe. Um, you know, they had a,
Rod reached out to me today to see if he could come on the podcast, and I was like,
oh
"What?"
yeah,
I was like, "Wow, he's reaching out to me. I don't have to reach out to him. That's incredible." Anyway,
yeah, that's
sorry.
awesome. No, no, no. That's awesome. I mean, you mentioning names. That's one of them. I
Yeah.
followed him on Facebook. I hated Facebook, but I got on Facebook as a learning thing. And Radcliffe had an event in Denver, and I told my wife, I said, "Look, I feel that I need to learn more. Need to get myself around other people that's growing and scaling." So I went. I booked a flight to Denver, not knowing anyone at all,
Mm.
without my wife, went there by myself.
I couldn't
And
do it.
one thing I told myself was I was going to meet every single person on that stage. And that event I did. And to this day, I am partnered up with three of them
Nice.
in different things,
Yeah.
not just real estate, but yes,
Very nice.
at least three of them.
And that's, introvert personality type that I am. You talking about getting on a plane and going somewhere by yourself? Probably not. Probably not going to happen for me.
No,
No.
no.
I don't know, man. Yeah, not going to happen. Don't put me in a crowd of people that I don't know. I'll be the guy over in the corner hoping nobody comes to talk to me.
Yeah,
So kudos for you, man. That I look up to people who can do that and just
yeah, and
make it
I'm not
happen.
a big person that needs to be in the spotlight. I just felt that it was just another step I had to do, and that's what I did. And it benefit me to surround myself with people that I didn't know and scaling. So it definitely
Love it.
was a good plus.
So you've got this single family portfolio, you're getting into multifamily. Are you still going to buy single family as well, or are you kind of done with single family and you're focusing on just multifamily?
So the last year, I've been very focused on multifamily. I said I wasn't going to buy a single family, but of course, I bought one about 3 months ago as a flip. So yeah, that one's up for sale now. Um, but after this one, I think I'm going to be done.
The guys I used to run around with, we had this saying, it was one more bar.
Yeah.
We'd always say it after we went to one more bar. We would, I don't feel like going out tonight. Come on, we'll go to one bar.
Yeah,
Then that became one more bar.
of
And
course.
then at 2 o'clock, we were done. We couldn't go anywhere anyway. We had to go home. So is that the same with for you, or are you going to be buying some more homes, or?
Well, with that story, I live in New Orleans, so they never close. So got friends that say one
uh,
drink, and then that's like, yeah, five
yeah, by
o'clock.
mid 20s, I would have not been a good person if I lived in New Orleans.
Yeah. No, you know, the way I look at it, opportunities are there. Um, always make sure that you're moving forward. The numbers on this house just it made sense. It, the goal is to put more liquidity in my pocket and to buy
Yeah.
multifamily. It was just an opportunity. Don't ever say no. Always
Yeah.
opportunities, but
I
you
got
know,
it.
sometimes it's kind of hard to say no, but or yes, but yeah,
Well, if it's a home run deal, I mean, why say no, right?
right, right. Yeah, always move forward. So if it's
Yep.
going to benefit you and it's a good opportunity, I'd say go for it.
Um, so we're getting close to the end of our time. I got two questions for you I want to ask. Um, and there may be some spin off of that too. But you've talked a lot about your kids and grandkids, the kind of legacy you want to leave them. What do you think? So two questions. Um, well, first one, what do you think is going to be transparent about your life 20 years from now? And that is hard for me to grasp. I can hardly look 5 years down the road, right? But
Right.
20 years from now, what do you think is going to be very transparent about your life, other than your work ethic? I want to take that answer from you. Can't say
Right.
that.
Right. Um, 20 years, I just, really just have your own goals. You know, make sure what your why is. Just try to make it happen. Through my years, obviously, I've had some up and downs, and stay around positive people. Try not to let them bring you down. Um, I've been through quite a bit, and if I wasn't around those people or in that situation, I would be a lot further. So, you know, I guess that's what I would say on that one. I lost.
No,
Can't
I
hear.
did. I hit
Oh,
the mute button. Sorry, that was
okay.
me.
No problem.
uh, next question is not as deep, but I think bank is a four-letter word, right? If I ever want to cuss, I do cuss a lot here on the podcast, and I need to stop it. But bank is a four-letter word to me. They frustrate the heck out of me, and they seem like they never can get enough blood samples and urine samples to process the loan that you want to get through. How do you think banking is going to change 20 years from now? I mean, we've already seen probably in the last 5 or 10 where, especially with COVID in the last year, how most everything's done electronically. Um, it's just one of those things where you can see that transition coming, right? Um, but what's it going to look like? How's it going to look like for me and you guys who are investors and whatnot and trying to get loans approved or whatnot? What is it going to look like? What's the whole banking system going to look like 20 years from now?
I don't even want to think about that one.
Yeah.
um, that's one thing that gets me. Um, being in a single family, being in a smaller residential per se, um, I've done a lot of private lending, and it is so much easier than to go to a private lender than a bank. The first time I ever bought one was a 5-acre property in Mississippi, and I could not believe it was only like 5 pages for me to sign. And my
For a
first,
private money loan.
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. And when I bought my first duplex, they had 100 that you had to sign. It
Yeah.
was just totally amazed me. And ever since that, I've got quite a few private lenders, and it is so much easier. But moving into multifamily, getting bigger properties, obviously you have to deal with the banks. Um, yeah, I don't even want to think that.
I think it's going to be easier. I think as
Really? Yeah.
yeah, I think it will. I think it's going to dramatically change. I think it will. I think, used to when you used to go into a bank and you'd see the vault and there would be actual cash in it.
Yeah.
Um, it's just going to be tremendously different. Um, I I don't think this is too bold of a prediction, but I don't think there will be a traditional brick and mortar building in 20 years that has bank on the side of the building's name. I mean, we can do everything now well, I take that back. There is one bank that I use. I've got a couple, but one that I use, you have to go in. I had to go in to sign some documents. And here's the reason I use them is because a lot of the money that I move in and out is with this one bank. And any other bank that I looked at online, I can open an account just by clicking some buttons, giving some information. 15 minutes, I'm done, right? But I wanted the ease of being able to transfer and see everything on this one dashboard and whatnot. I tried to open it up online, and the type of business account I couldn't open online. I had to go into the bank. It took me almost 3 hours, 2 hours and some change of sitting there talking. And the guy who helped me out was extremely nice. But there was, I don't know, 15 pages, maybe 7, 10 pages of forms that I had to sign and fill out. And he would ask me information, he'd type it in, he would just print it off. I'm like, the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, why can't I do this online? So I just think it's another revolution that the banking industry is going to be so much different,
Yeah.
in 20 years from now. I don't think there's going to be, I've even seen where Capital One has this, they're trying to soften it up in Capital One Cafe, where they're coming hashtag not sponsored for the show, but if they want to, I don't know. No, I don't want them as a sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah. The actual banks. Yeah. I do everything online. Yeah.
I think that's going to be different. I think there's going to be a different way of, um, uh, for people buying properties, whether it's a real estate investment or their primary residence. There's going to be a much easier way for underwriters to look to be able to do it. I mean, it's horrible right now, and the thing is, it hasn't changed yet because so many people are okay with it, right? It's not enough pain to make them want to force the issue to change. But I think 20 years from now, yeah, it's going to be tremendously different. Tremendous. Checks might even be obsolete at that point in time. I don't know, but checks might be obsolete at that point in time.
Yeah. I haven't ordered checks in 6 years, and my wife
Haven't
always says,
either.
"You need to have them." I'm like, "Not really."
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do not need a check. I can't tell you the last time I wrote one. I cannot tell you. But anyway, I think the banking industry is going to look tremendously different. I think it's going to be a lot easier too. But anyway, uh, Robert, I know you've got a lot going on in New Orleans. You're still hosting the meetup in New Orleans, right?
Yeah. We haven't done it face to face yet, but we're probably going to do it next month. For sure, January. I just talked to the owner of the place. They're open, so yeah, we're gonna probably go back on January. But we have been doing some virtual.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Very cool. So, how can anybody in and around New Orleans find out more about your meetup and get connected with you, or what's the best way for them to connect?
sure. So yeah, I am the chapter leader for Multifamily Masters New Orleans. We have that every month at the Bulldog, which you can look it up on Facebook. Um, I'm all on Facebook, and I also have a group that I've created, which is multifamily master. I'm sorry, multifamily asset management and value add. That's my
Nice.
group I created. So I'm on there adding value. You can reach out to me through Facebook or my email, which is rns4, the number 4, investment at gmail.com.
Got it. All right. We'll put all that in the show notes as well. Robert, thank you, sir, for your time today. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy the conversation. Enjoy the tip for the Christmas present, the Monopoly Junior. Next time we talk, I am hoping I see more of a mullet than I do right now. I would love to see it come back, man. I really would. I'm telling you, no, you're one of those guys where you rocked it. You rocked it. And by the way, you grow it out. It doesn't look good. We can cut it. We just need the photo proof that it happened before, right?
Well, I just had a haircut this week, so I'll stop it. And
I love it. I love it. All right, Robert, let me get out of here. Sir, have a great night. I really enjoyed the conversation and look forward to connecting with you again soon. Technology issue free, right? Next time we talk, we're not going to have any issues. We're just going to come in here and it's just going to
yeah, we squared away. No, it was
be.
great to have be on your show, Jay, and great talking to you finally.
Yeah, yeah, finally made it happen. All right,
Sure.
Robert, have a good night, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that wraps up our episode with Mr. Robert Benenate. I love his passion for being the best. Right, I am not the best, but I want to be the best in real estate world. And he's teaching his kids, he's teaching his grandkids all about those goals and how to build that generational wealth. It was freaking awesome, right? So, speaking of multifamily, I know Robert does a lot of multifamily. What I've done is I've created this playlist right here. All the interviews that we've done, everything I've talked about with multifamily is going to be right here. All you got to do is click on the little box, and I'll see you in that video next.